Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and welcome in to episode number 4 of the Fantasy Day Traders. Today, we are going to be touching on players that we are going to be trading for, as well as trading away in week number 4. You're going to have to get these guys before it's too late. You may want to send these guys off before it is too late, and you're going to have a Viking funeral for these guys because they are going to be awful in the future. So before we get right into it, make sure that you guys do end up hitting that subscribe button, because not only is it free, I'll be putting out content every single day, slapping you straight in the face with content every day so you guys can consume and win your 2020 Fantasy Football Championship and eat it like a nice lobster that Jameis Winston stole from a local Publix. So before we get into it again, please listen to a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite place to play daily fantasy football. Now, why is that, Nick? It's because it is the easiest place to play and the simplest. All it is one player versus another player, plus or minus the spread. Now, some games don't have a spread. Other games do have a spread. It's very simple. Which player scores more fantasy points, plus or minus the spread? For instance, here, we have Ezekiel Elliott versus Nick Chubb. Who scores more fantasy points? Ezekiel Elliott minus 3 points or Nick Chubb plus 3 fantasy points? It's so simple that anyone can do it. It's so easy. You guys do all this research to win your weekly matchups in fantasy football. So why not make some additional cash on OverlayDFS.com? Make sure you guys check that out. Link down below in the description. And we are back. Make sure you guys check that out. Now, before we get into it, we have to introduce Tyler, the man to my left. How are you doing, Tyler?
Hi, as an employee of Publix, I appreciate that comment. Please try and rob our stores. Actually, I can't say that. I think I may get fired. Anyways, a couple things I do want to cover. Number one, I'm wearing a shirt today. Don't just get used to this. I think that's kind of rude. If you were to get used to it, I was a little bit cold. So yeah, I kind of put on a nice shirt. It's short sleeves. I live in Florida. That's how we live. Go Lightning. Number two, we won the cup. Your team didn't, unless you're a Lightning fan. And then please follow me on Twitter, Tyler Moss NFL. You see how I tied those things? We're starting to get better at these intros. The Sported Out site, check that out. And you know what you really should check out? Nick's ass and also this video. Let's kick it off.
Let's get right into it. So we will begin here with my first trade target of the week, and that is Mark Andrews, tight end of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I understand for the past 2 weeks, this guy has done you dirty. He bent you over and didn't even bother to give you the common courtesy of using lube. I understand that. First week of the season, the man dropped 22.8 points, right? That's pretty good. But the next 2 weeks combines for only 8 points. Very not good. That is very not nice. So what could have happened in these games? Well, last week we saw what happened was Lamar Jackson just completely stuttered in that game. He looked awful because Lamar Jackson cannot win from behind. The guy just cannot come from behind. He has to do it missionary if he wants to come. So with that said, I think that against Kansas City was a tough matchup for him, and I think that we are going to see Mark Andrews obviously play much better. Last week, with only 3 receptions on 8 targets for 22 yards, he dropped a touchdown that was wide open in the end zone. He should have easily have snagged, and his point total would have looked much better for the season. So I think a lot of people are really pissed off at Mark Andrews. He's done them bad 2 times in a row. So I think this week, in week numero 4, is the best time to buy him, because after he blows up, after he has one more good game, there's no way anyone's going to be willing to trade him, considering they know the immense amount of upside that he could put up. Week 1, he scored 2 touchdowns up against the Cleveland Browns. Now, I understand he's not going to play up against the Browns every single week. This week, he's playing up against the Washington football team without Chase Young. So it's a tougher matchup, and I think that Mark Andrews is going to have a good game this week and for the future. So what do you think about Mr. Mark Andrews?
3 things. Number one, 80% snap share. Thank you. Great. That is we weren't seeing last year over 50 snap share. I know that sounds insane. No. People are like, how is he putting up those numbers with not even over 50 snap share? That was genuinely an issue for him, and people were concerned. This is the first time he's ever gone over 70. And he's already done it twice this year. He was 71% snap share in week 1, 80% in week 3. He's on the field. He's getting targets from that. There is a lot of benefit for Mark Andrews right now. He's getting volume. He's seeing the field a lot. There is no Hayden Hurst to block anything. If you think Boyle's an issue, then you're the issue.
It was last week. He scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, take it on the chin as you will, but seriously, this is the best we've seen Mark Andrews situationally. You should be very happy with that. And I think I promised, a 3? Yeah, I did promise a 3. He's the current tight end 10 in standard leagues. And yeah, he's not going to be your PPR monster, but that's still not terrible. Go trade for this man. Somebody's heart's broken because they took him in like the 4th round, and your heart isn't because you're stealing him from that team. And maybe you can trade for him for a guy that maybe not so great that we'll talk about later on in the video. But I'll drop my first trade for, and his name is, you know what, it's Myles Gaskin, but Nick, you call him something different on this channel.
His name is Myles Gaskin. No, that's his real name. His name is Carol Gaskin, like Carol Baskin, that girl who murdered her husband.
That was beautiful. Like, that couldn't have ran any better. Yeah. So here. Let me continue on with the 3 things of life. 3, PPR back number 21. Fantastic. Okay, that's 1. Number 2, 76% snap share. And number 3, 22 attempts. And what that is for me is a fantastic back that's getting opportunity. He is not getting great opportunity, but welcome to Miami, baby. This is your clear-cut running back 1. He's getting receptions. He's plus over 5 receptions for the 2nd time in a row. He's always seen over 4 targets in the past 3 weeks, so it's been great. The volume is there. The schedule's not perfect, and normally you see me, I'm writing schedule a lot when I make my picks, but this is not a bad pick. Seattle, San Francisco, Denver. I mean, you're like, well, outside of Denver, that's a joke, but Seattle, San Francisco, you're like, okay, that's actually bad. Like, I don't know if I want Myles Gaskin. He's getting volume. It does not matter. And you may be like, well, bad volume, is it even good volume? With as much as we're seeing with Myles Gaskin and that huge spike in attempts last week, I'm very much okay with it.
Yeah, I'm really bought into Myles Gaskin. I think he's actually going to have a good game here up against the Seattle Seahawks, which would be considered more of a tougher kind of a matchup. I think Myles Gaskin is just so involved with Ryan Fitzpatrick in the receiving game. It just seemed like there was a lot of opportunity up against the Jacksonville Jaguars to dump him off the ball, and he was giving it to him. Jordan Howard is not the answer there, clearly. Originally, before the season started, I thought this was going to be a 1-2 punch. Jordan Howard, Matt Breida of me and Tyler's team, the Miami Dolphins. So I was looking at them closely. I was like, you know what? Maybe Jordan Howard will have a good year. No, he just scores a touchdown every single week, which obviously is going to piss you off as the Myles Gaskin owner. But understand, he's probably not going to score any touchdowns unless he's like from 5 yards or more back, because when they're right up to the goal line, they just run it with Jordan Howard on 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down. They create 5th and 6th down just to give him the goddamn ball. So I think that Myles Gaskin is still going to be very productive in this offense, even if he's not scoring an absorbent amount of touchdowns. Does he even have a touchdown in the season? I don't even think so.
He doesn't, but he's been in the teens. I mean, what, like 10, 12, 14. I mean, he's just growing. What else do you need? I mean, you're get him at a really good value. I mean, I guarantee you, if you make a trade, you can go trade for another guy we say trade for, and you could throw Myles Gaskin in as a sweetener. No one genuinely respects what he's doing. People are going to look at the schedule and be like, oh, it's just Jacksonville. I'm not going to start him in the next 2 weeks. You can seriously consider starting him in the next 2 weeks. Even with that tough schedule, this is a great situation. I mean, it's a terrible situation, but it's great volume. It's like Leonard Fournette. And it's Myles Gaskin, who people picked off of waivers. This is why I was saying, go get this guy off of waivers. Yes, Myles Gaskin. What a beauty.
Carol Gaskin. I like him as well. My next guy here, our boy on this channel, we talk about him all the time on the Sunday and Thursday live streams, Dion T. Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers, wide receiver now. Last week, he ends up getting hurt. He ends up putting up a dud of a game. He ended up raw dogging you right in the ass by getting hurt, but there's nothing you can do about him getting hurt, okay? Nothing to worry about there. Now, he could miss week number 4, which is even better if you're trying to trade for him, right? Because people are going to be scared. Oh, he's concussed, this, that, the other thing. He's going to be fine. And Deontay Johnson has been very low-key. He's been the guy that's been getting more targets on average than Juju Smith-Schuster in the first 2 games of the season when they were both healthy. So understand that Big Ben likes to air the ball out. He did not really look to throw the ball to the tight end at all this season until we saw last week after Deontay Johnson ended up getting hurt. That's when Eric Ebron was involved. So riddle me this. Will Deontay Johnson continue to be used when he gets back? The answer is 100% yes. Week 2 up against the Denver Broncos, this man went to pound town. It was like Flavor Town from Guy Fieri. 8 receptions, 13 targets, 92 yards, 1 tutty, 23.2 PPR points. This man went crazy. He did it. He put up an amazing game, and I believe that this is going to continue to keep up once Diontae Johnson gets healthy. There's probably people that are scared, oh my God, he's going to miss this game. So go ahead and ship him or try to ship something off for him and get him, because a lot of people aren't going to buy into the wide receiver 2 on the Steelers. The Steelers played up against teams that the record is combined 0-9. Not very good. So some people are going to be like, you know what? Diontae Johnson isn't very good. And you know what I say? He is very good because he's getting the targets. He get 13 targets week 2 up against the Denver Broncos. I just feel like this guy's a very key piece to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, even if he was playing softer-esque matchup the first 3 weeks of the season. So what do you think about our boy Diontae Johnson?
Yeah, we bring up his name a good bit. I don't know if he plays this week against Tennessee. I really don't.
I don't know if the game plays.
Yeah, valid. God, Tennessee, why you gotta be the way you are? You know what? Actually, no. I blame Kirk Cousins.
I like that.
So, yeah, week 5 is against the Eagles, which we have learned very quickly about the Eagles. If you are not the number 1 wide receiver, you are going to destroy the Eagles. You will, fantasy-wise, destroy the Eagles. And Diontae Johnson is not the number 1 on this team. Juju is. Juju will be destroyed by Darius Slay, and Diontae Johnson is going to destroy the Eagles. It's a 1-for-1. Then he gets Cleveland. What a joke. Everything on Cleveland's an absolute clown show. Baltimore, it's kind of tough, but, I mean, you look down the line, and he has a pretty solid schedule after their bye week in week 8. I'm good with this. Diontae Johnson, what a guy. What a guy.
What a lad.
Yeah. So I've actually got 2 more here. Yeah, I'm a little crazy here. I'm going to go, if you want this guy, this one will be quick. If you want this guy, you have a window of, let's look at the time, 4 days, 3 days. I don't know. This comes out, what, Wednesday? I never know.
It'll come out tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah, so it comes out tomorrow. For you, it came out right now. You're watching it. Come on. Where are you at? You're not in the future. This is your only chance to get this man. His name is Josh Jacobs. Yeah, terrible matchup against New England, because guess what? New England knew one thing about the Raiders is you shut down 2 things. Shut down Waller, you shut down Jacobs, you're going to win the game. That's how you beat this team. Force Derek Carr to actually make throws to people like Hunter Renfrow, who actually had a good game. That's how you beat this team. Other teams aren't smart enough to figure that out. Josh Jacobs, this is your buy now window. You probably have until actually probably week 4, a little bit into week 4, because they face Buffalo. You probably get into leak into week 5. But your window to trade for this man is closing, and it hasn't been open long. Their playoff schedule, I mean, reading this is beautiful. From week 12, it's Atlanta. Week 13, the Jets. 14, Indianapolis. 15, Chargers. 16, Miami. I mean, come on. You're winning your league off of this. Seriously.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs could do good this week up against Buffalo, considering Darrell Henderson played good up against the Buffalo Bills last week. So it wouldn't really surprise me if Jacobs put up a big game. I mean, obviously, just like you said before, Bill Belichick's a fucking genius. He did some mental warfare right in Josh Jacobs' brain, made him shit himself, and he did not play good at all. But understandably, playing up against the Patriots, I think he's in for a huge bounce back rest of the season, considering he was very good the first 2 weeks of the season. Do you have anything else to add here on Jacobs, or should we move on here?
We can move on to my final trade for Zac Hertz. It's week 4, and we're already back into what we saw last year, where there is one receiver on this Philadelphia Eagles team, and his name is Zac Hertz. And, I mean, seriously, what you're trading for is a guy who's going to put up 15 points every week. I mean, there's no one else to throw the ball to. Miles Sanders and Zac Hertz will get all the volume, and Carson Wentz will also be throwing it to the floor as he's diving multiple guys, racing after his ass, because that's just what it's going to be for him. It's big tough. It's tough life to be Carson Wentz. Tough life to be a Phillies fan. Nothing good happens in Philadelphia, direct quote. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
All right, I completely agree. I mean, last year we saw Zac Ertz do absolutely diddly squat the first half of the season. Then down the stretch, after Alshon passes away, after Jalen Reagor passes away, or not Jalen Reagor, fucking Nelson Aguilar, everyone was passed away. Then Greg Ward came out of nowhere, out of the AAF, and played good. And we're in the exact same situation where I'd pick up fucking Greg Ward. That's the shitty situation we're in. Zach Ertz is going to ball out. Godert's dead as well for the next couple of weeks. So I think Zach Ertz is going to have a fantastic opportunity to play well in Philadelphia. Now, on to my next two guys here. We're going to bang them out right quick. Christian McCaffrey, running back of the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's going to be a real big explanation here about why you should trade for Christian McCaffrey. It's because he's good.
Boom.
Pretty simple. He's very good. I mean, he's going to come back. Maybe he misses 3 more weeks, right? Maybe he only misses 2 more because he's on the IR. He's been on the IR since week 2, I believe. So he can come off next week, I believe. But maybe he's on there for even longer. But with that said, if your team's like 3-0, if your team's 2-1, and you feel very comfortable in the roster that you have created thus far, you go ahead and get Christian McCaffrey. This is the perfect time to get him. The Carolina Panthers are looking pretty solid. Last week they looked very good, and I think that regardless of how they even look, Christian McCaffrey is just an absolute fucking machine on this offense. We've seen Mike Davis, Fat Mike, step up and get 8 targets a game. Christian McCaffrey is going to get a zillion targets when he comes back, and he's going to ball out. So don't overthink it. Don't trade away Christian McCaffrey if you have him. I urge you to do that. But if you have 2 pieces that you can mix and match together to go ahead and snag the wonderful man, Christian McCaffrey, go ahead and do it. And then we are going to get a breakdown of Christian McCaffrey from Tyler in 1 second. After we talk about Tyler, Boyd of the Cincinnati Bengals, my favorite wide receiver in the NFL. You people doubted me. You hated me. Week 1, you said, Nick, Tyler Boyd is washed up. That's what you're saying. And then week 2, he devours the Browns. Not good, though, because it was in garbage time. Oh, Nick, he can't do it. He only does it in garbage time. Last week, goes to town. He's going crazy. You want to know why? Because A.J. Green is booty cheeks. A.J. Green is a useless specimen on this offense. Joe Burrow is going to soon realize that he shouldn't even throw that motherfucker the ball because all he does is drop it, and all I do is win, 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 no matter what. So you're going to want to go ahead here and trade for Tyler Boyd. 2 big weeks out of him, 20.2 PPR points in week 2 up against the Cleveland Browns with 7 receptions, 8 targets, 72 yards, and 1 tug. Week 3 up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Notice how he balled out. We talked about this before as the wide receiver 2 on the team because he wasn't being covered by Darius Slay. We talked about that earlier with the Eagles. 22.5 PPR points, 10 receptions, 13 targets, 125 yards. Now, I understand it may be a bit harder to trade for him now, but he's still not a big name for a lot of people. To many people, Tyler Boyd is just a wide receiver 2 on your team. But his production has said quite the contrary. He's almost a wide receiver 1 right now, a high upside, or not a high upside, but a higher echelon wide receiver 2. So I think that we can see a lot of greatness out of Tyler Boyd, even if the Cincinnati Bengals season looks very grim. It looks bad because the offensive line shit. Joe Burrow's running circles around there, back there. But I think at the end of the day, Tyler Boyd's going to be able to get it done and is going to be able to have a great rest of his season. So what do you think here, Tyler, about Christian McCaffrey and the guy with the same name as you, Tyler Boyd?
Christian McCaffrey's good. Tyler Boyd, I don't need to say anything else. Come on. Tyler Boyd, fantastic receiver. Here's the thing. AJ Green, I used to hate AJ Green. He has now become my favorite receiver in the league. And that is because he will take the number 1 corner away every single time. Every matchup, doesn't matter. Tyler Boyd, going to town. Guys like T. Higgins, break out. Let's go. Because AJ Green's taking the best guy every single time. Like, how do you not love this situation? Tyler Boyd, Boyd, baby. Yes, sir. Let's roll.
Yes, sir. So now on to the trade away targets. Before we do that, make sure you guys, if you have enjoyed, you definitely have enjoyed because you made it this far into me and Tyler talking about some trade targets, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, shit's free. You get so much content, and you're not going to want to go anywhere else after this for fantasy advice because I am the number 1. At least my mom says I am. So, Tyler, what do you think here about your first trade away target here?
So this sucks. This is, again, I've done this like every video. And you know what? I want to apologize because I know not every league is built like this, but there's leagues out there, and you know who you are, where there's a trade every week. There's 2 trades every week, and people are asking themselves, what the hell? Are people just trading for fun? Yes. Some people have leagues that get bored, and they just trade for fun. And for that, I give you this guy to trade away. Okay, listen, Miles Sanders. Stay with me now. I just talked about how he's going to get volume because there's no receivers. How about you settle down? Forget what you just heard, all right? Next 3 weeks at San Francisco. You ready to play them? I know. At Pittsburgh. Are you really ready to play them? No. And then versus Baltimore. Still no? Okay. No. Okay. He has probably one of the worst 3 straight games in a row. You are not getting good value from him. You will die with him. You will cry with him.
You die.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mess. You know what they say about Philadelphia? Nothing good comes out of Philadelphia. I'm hammering this one. You got to move on from him for these next 3 weeks. And then in this situation, after those 3 weeks, you buy him right back up again for a lot cheaper. I know. It's like stock market, baby. You sell, you buy, you sell again, all right? That's what you do here with Miles Sanders. He has a really, really messed up next 3 weeks. But after that, he's in the clear, baby. You're winning leagues.
Fikes. All right, next guy here. I don't even got anything to say about Miles Sanders, to be honest with you, because
I don't blame you.
I'm not a big Miles Sanders guy, but I think he'll be fine. But I think that you trade him away now will be the most you can get for him, and then you just snag him back out there after the guy probably trades him to someone else, and then you go ahead and trade it again. So my trade away guy here, I only have one because I still hate this man. I don't actually hate the guy. I like the guy, but I don't like the way that his health concerns me. And that's James Conner, running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I understand James Conner's balled out twice in a row. He's absolutely danced on the graves of the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. 20-plus points in those games. So, obviously, you're saying, Nick, you know what? Why would you trade him away? Because he is a injury-prone running back. Week 1, he gets hurt, right? And then I was like, you know what? Just keep him. Don't trade him. Last week, I told everyone to trade him because he scored 20-plus points. If you didn't trade him, you still got him. Trade him now because I'm not saying that the offense is going to get worse or that James Conner is going to get worse or anything like that. I think James Conner is still a productive 15 to 20-plus points on a weekly basis. My worry, though, is that it's going to be a little too late when he gets hurt. He's been getting hurt. He's missed games in every single season he's had in his NFL career. So I just expect it at this point. And I feel like if you've gotten this far with him, he's won you like 2 weeks, just ship him off. And if you're not willing to ship him off, please make sure that you pick up Benny Snell or make a trade for Benny Snell. Because if you do not have him and you are the James Conner owner, you are going to be 50 shades of fucked in the ass if James Conner ends up getting hurt.
Yeah, I think we've talked so much about James Conner that I'm kind of tired of it. Which is to you. I think you've hammered it. You've hammered the over. You hammered down. Good for you. I'm gonna move on to my next guy, Devin Singletary. Yeah, he had a good week, didn't he? Everyone's happy. Everyone's giddy and smiley. Everyone realized that Zach Moss was actually doing a lot. Snap share for the 2 weeks before when he was facing terrible teams in the Jets and Dolphins, 58%, 55%. What happens? What's the difference? Why did he jump to 89 this past week? Why? Zach Moss? Who's that? Yeah, he was out. Yeah, you remember him? This was a questionable injury. He was just out for that week. There's a slight chance he may be out for week 4, but he ain't out any longer than that. You have a very small window of opportunity to move this man. You got to capitalize on someone who's not paying enough attention because everyone kind of knows at this point that Zach Moss is taking away volume from Singletary. Find the person in your league that is sleeping on news and go trade Devin Singletary to him because this may be your last chance. This is a committee backfield and it's not a fun one.
Yeah, this is the double-headed dragon backfield of Buffalo. I don't like it at all. I don't want anything to do with Devin Singletary. Get him straight off your team right now. It's something I just thought of, actually, that we could talk about real quick. Nothing really smart behind this here, but trade for Lamar Jackson because someone is going to be pissed off. Now, maybe not in every one of your leagues because if you guys are in a league with people who are sharp, they understand, hey, you know what, Lamar Jackson, he's going to come back. But some people, they're very finicky when it comes to the lineup. They see Lamar Jackson shit the bed. They see him look terrible. You know what they want to do? They want to trade him the fuck off their team, and you buy him right the fuck now because this is the best opportunity to get Lamar Jackson. Now, something funny I saw, this is a virtual meme. You're going to have to envision this in your head because I saw it on Twitter, and I didn't retweet it, but it said, this is how Lamar Jackson would look in the Kansas City Chiefs offense, and it was Patrick Mahomes handing the ball to Lamar Jackson. That was the funniest meme I've ever seen in my life, so thank you guys for watching this video. But before we actually get out of here, we're going to recap what happened last week real quick. So last week, our picks were looking mighty fuego.
Yeah.
Me and Tyler were on fucking fire. So do you have it pulled up, and do you want to read it, or do you want me to do it?
I do have it pulled up. We on this show feel like it's valuable to be accountable for everything we say, only when it benefits us. In that circumstances, we benefit a lot off of what we did last week. So my couple of tradeaways last week, Number 1 was Melvin Gordon. I would like to respectfully read out his stat line because I thought it was very nice. 63% snap share. Okay. 8 attempts, 26 yards. Ooh.
Very high.
Did nothing. Yeah, I mean, he did nothing. All right, so thank you, Tyler, for a great first selection there. Thank you, Tyler, for telling me to trade him. You're absolutely welcome. Number 2 is the entire Ravens backfield. J.K. Dobbins put up 8.4 points. Congratulations. Did you start him? I hope not. Mark Ingram, even worse. He put up 3 points. That was fantastic. I'm sure you're very happy to put him in your lineup. And then even more to that, the man who people thought were just going to consistently take snaps away, 3.9 for Gus Edwards. So good job.
Bus.
Yeah, exactly. Good job, Tyler. You did a fantastic job in telling us to trade away these people. I know. Thank you guys for listening to me. Really, it means a lot.
All right, my trade away, guys. I went with Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr., guess what? Didn't do very good like I expected. Now, the other guy, because we hammered down on this man, James Conner. Now, James Conner did put up another big week, but the reason for trading him in my mind was based off of the injury concerns. It's not based off the fact that I think he's bad or anything, because like I talked about, he's very good, but that was, I guess, technically, that was a miss, but we're still hammering down on James Conner. So, Tyler, who were your trade fours last week, so we can go over that as well.
All right, so this is where I could, stop being an arrogant asshole for a second. I said look for Eckler. This is in my notes. Look for Eckler in the coming weeks. Faces Carolina, then goes against New Orleans and Tampa. So technically, I was like, please go trade for him because this would be big cake schedule. But he went off, and you definitely can't trade for him anymore. Good luck if you try. You're giving up a lot. So maybe I'll pat myself on the back for a 30-plus performance, 30-plus points. And then my other guy was Julio. This was before we found out Julio was going to be out. I still say trade for him. I mean, why not, right? He's Julio. He went from 4 points to being out. They're concerned even more now. I was going to say trade for him, but I felt that was kind of repetitive. You knew what I was doing. We knew we were going to go over a recap. So, yeah, I felt those are really good 2 options there for the trade force.
All right, my trade fours were the Robinson guys. Allen Robinson last week. Big Dick Nick Foles, 9-inch Nick Foles comes out of nowhere. The team is revived. They're fired up. And Allen Robinson makes a catch that looked like, what was that, the fucking play called where Stephon Diggs ran it into the end zone? What was that called? The Minnesota Miracle. That's what it looked like it happened. He spun out from underneath the guy and ran straight into the end zone. Allen Robinson skull-fucked that Atlanta Falcons defense, and he is going to be very good from here on out. My other call, James Robinson, balled out up against our Miami Dolphins, but they still took that L. But James Robinson, very good. Seems like you're not going to be able to trade for him now, though, unless people just don't believe in him due to the fact that he's an undrafted free agent rookie, I guess, and that the fact is that he's James Robinson. You probably have no idea who he is.
His next 3 weeks are like it. Just play him. Just don't come into the live stream and ask, hey, should I play James Robinson? Because he literally plays Cincinnati, Houston, and then Detroit. Okay, congrats to that owner. You're going to get 20-plus points. James Robinson's legit, and Nick with the absolute legit picks.
Bang. So, thank you guys all for watching this video. Real quick, Tyler, shout out anything that you need here.
Hi. I actually have a new shout out. I am currently looking for a graphic designer. Don't ask questions. I'll answer them when you message me. Tyler Moss NFL on Twitter. You can actually email me. I'm going to be a little bit more accessible to you guys. I know some of you guys do not have Twitter. tylermosshb5@gmail.com. Please message me. Reach out to me. I need a graphic designer, and I'm also looking for guys in university right now that are looking to write about college content. Don't ask any more questions. You can access me at the Twitter. You can access me at the email. I want you to want me. That's a song from the 80s. Thank you, Nick. It's been a joy.
All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys check out, again, overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. They pay the bills. Those are the reason why at least one of my lights are on in my room. So thank you guys all for watching. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you motherfuckers with Tyler next week, and actually on Sunday, probably for the live stream, and then I'm going to be seeing you later with another video. So have a great rest of your guys' day.